need to do is I need to get rid of this as well. That won't be a problem, right? Yeah, that won't be a problem. Just need to get rid of the text. Hello, everyone. I'm just getting rid of some residual text real quick because I forgot to erase this. And don't worry, the layer underneath will basically fix that issue, so we don't need to worry about it. This is the rough. Like the one on top is the rough version, and then and then the bottom one would be the like base stuff. Sorry. Okay, so we're just gonna erase this real quick. It's gonna look kind of weird. Now today's gonna be kind of different because we have to add additional details to this page. But I hope it doesn't take too long. Okay, I think that's fine. Like, for instance... Oh, I forgot to erase these ones too, damn it. Sorry guys, I am not fully awake, so I'm just going to go over these real quick, just erase all this text, just so that it's a lot more easier to work with. But that won't take that long. Just got to be kind of efficient about it so that I don't make any mistakes. The only reason I have to do this now is because, well... Yeah, I forgot to do it. Oh wait, no I don't. I don't have to do this. Because the underside would be normal. Yeah, so what am I doing? I don't know. What am I doing? I am not awake. Okay, anyways. So hopefully everyone's having a great day. Or a great morning, is what I should say. But yeah, if you look, that's the underside of it. That's where all the pictures that we're going to be doing would go. But we have to do something a little different first. We usually start going over like tracing it and all that. But there are some additional details that I need to add first. For instance, I want to add curtains or drapes to this window. So for that, I'm going to need a reference. I need to remember how I actually drew curtains, which I think I know an art piece that is perfect for that. I've just got to find it. So if anyone says, hi, I'm sorry I won't see you because I have to go to my DeviantArt for this. Gallery. I need to go here. And I gotta go way back in time. Weirdly enough, it's the one that I said is like the mess. Like the one that has the OC that is just ridiculous in terms of detail. So yeah. We gotta go back a little ways in time. Because I do not remember the name of this character, so I can't just search it up. I remember it started with a T. But that's all I do remember. Hopefully everyone's having a great morning with their families and all that stuff. And yeah, this will be interesting, to say the least. Oh, there she is. There she is. Okay, what kind of... Actually, I know a better one. I've got to go back to when I was on my Genshin kick. Okay, so drapes are just literally... like, they come down like a curved line, kind of like that. And again, these are going to be very rough curtains, so they're not going to be perfect by any means. Okay, now they've got a good idea. It's just a matter of the connection points, which usually go from the center and just go down like that. But, yeah. I kind of want this girl to have some privacy. She is kind of a young adult, so she deserves privacy. Actually, now that I think about it, those need to come down a little further. So this won't take that long. This is just an additional little detail that I wanted to add to this. And don't worry, it's not on the main thing. It's on a layer above. So it'll be a lot more easier to work with. So the drape would probably like come down right there, actually. It's actually very similar to drawing hair. And then you have the bottom one, which just kind of goes down like that from the center point. It has been a minute since I have drawn these things, so that's why I'm looking up a reference. Brain is not wanting to function right now. Probably more like that kind of a thing. Then out like that. I would imagine that works well enough. But then there's just the connection points, which is the tricky part. Okay, what did I do for that one? Ah, I see what I did. I see what I did. I put it out of the screen so I didn't have to deal with that. Okay, well, let's go back to the one where you can actually see it in frame. Okay, so what I did was... Okay, well, if that's the case, then this needs to come over more. What I did was I kind of created something along the lines of that. It's gonna be a minute, guys. I haven't drawn these things in a minute, so. But these are just additional little details that I wanted to add. Because I was looking at it this morning, it was kind of just meh. Okay, that's the right idea, except this part is not right. This part, definitely not right. I think it's just going to kind of go up. Not like that, but maybe from the center. Is that good enough? That's the right idea. That's the correct, like, motive, an idea. Now I just got to put the thing in the middle that kind of connects it and creates the pressure points. And I can't find it because it's kind of hard to follow these lines a little bit. Okay, I can see it. Just try and get that a little more clean. Okay. Let's get rid of this line now that we have a decent idea of what we're doing. That'd be the part that kind of holds it together. Okay. So it's very similar to hair, kind of like braids. Very, very similar to that kind of concept. So it comes out like that, and down like that. And same thing over here, down and down like that. Like I said, this is just the rough version. This will all be cleaned up later. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. But we need a second pair. So Copy, paste. Actually, I should have added the details first. Let me add the details first, so that looks a little bit more realistic. So for the details, we want to just kind of go whang, whang, and whang. And kind of the same thing down here, whang. Those pressure points, so that it looks like it's a little bit more like it's being held in that area. Then for the drapes, we want to kind of create these little folds as well. It's kind of similar to how you draw clothing. Kinda. In a sense. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too shabby. Okay, copy, paste. Let me see if I just flip it, if that might work. As long as it gets that idea across that they're curtains, that's all I care about. Okay, so from right here, okay, where's the top of the desk? Right there. Okay, so let's get that kind of a curve, because they do kind of curve out. Something for these curves. Then we don't need to even see anything out here. So just get rid of what is on the outside. And then erase the excess that's kind of overriding these lines. It's definitely not going to be perfect, but that's not the point. So yeah, we're starting a little different today. But that is okay. Okay, so the lamp would obscure that, so we don't want that showing through. Okay. Then the curtains. Would they be transparent, or would they... I think I'm going to make them non-transparent. So that would be the background. So we're going to go here, get rid of that. Oh, gotta be careful. That way she just has a little bit of privacy, rather than having a wide open window. Whoop, gotta be careful. Keep forgetting. Because these characters are depicted around, like, you know, a young adult age. It's like 19 or higher. So yeah, giving them some privacy is very important. Okay, that looks pretty good. It definitely sells the point of what I'm trying to get. Okay. Alright, we're not too worried about this down here. Just need to get that fixed. Okay. Now this thing... Let me take a look at this. I mean, it sells, but it's not turned correctly. It needs to be turned the opposite way. Like, it needs to come more... It needs to come more this way. because it needs to be slightly turned. Okay, I gotta be careful here. Actually, no, I don't, because I've got an underneath layer. So they need to be turned that way. So I think that means this also needs to be turned a little bit. Something like that. Then up here, same ordeal. Let's see if this might work. Okay, it needs to come back a little bit more. These are just things that you don't notice, and then you have to fix them later. Fun times, guys. Fun times. But that's what this process is all about. Okay, that's not too bad. I think it's going to be down to the shading and all that stuff that really depicts that. I really think that's where it's going to matter. Is it's just going to be a matter of shading, coloring, stuff like that. Definitely looks a lot more better. That's fine. Okay. I think we're ready to start tracing now. So let's just combine all these with that. And get started. Okay, so I need to go panel 1. While a pain in the ass, creating this has actually been a blast. I've had a lot of fun. It's the other one that I'm doing right now that, holy fuck. 2 words, pose practice. Because holy crap, it is pushing me to really try some different poses. And it's definitely bringing a lot of challenges. Okay. So yeah, pretty much the same ordeal as that one panel. So we don't want to be too sloppy here. Just want to be good enough. So hopefully everyone's having a great day with their families, pets, and if you're in another country, good afternoon or good evening. Okay. I don't think this is going to be a hard page to trace over. The one that's definitely going to be the most work is 100% this one. That's the one with the most detail. But this one is not that bad. This is going to be pretty simple. This is a headshot. The part that takes the longest is just getting it right. Nope. Nope. I've also checked the poll on whether you guys want color or if you want black and white, and honestly, it's like split down the middle. Actually, now that I haven't checked it today, so let me check it today. Let's see, go to my channel, my posts. It is currently at 41 votes, 18% difference. And with manga style, in the lead. So think I think I know what I'm gonna do. Like I said, it doesn't matter which one's higher. It all depend. All that poll was for. Like you can still vote on it or whatever. But yeah, if you want to see this, if you're a fan of like or like interested in this project, then you can still vote. But I was gonna give it a week. It's been a week, and I wanted to just the main purpose of that poll was just to figure out a good idea of what you guys prefer. And I think it was 59% on the manga and like 40 something percent on fully colored. It's like I said, one takes longer than the other. Like I'm like what I'm doing right now is I'm really giving myself like a lot of experience by doing a fully colored one as well. That is unfortunately not safe for YouTube. And it, let me, yeah, it's a lot more work. It's not a terrible amount of work, but it's still work. And it definitely does take longer than if I were to do like black and white with light shading. Like light shading, that's not going to take that long. But fully coloring, fully shading, everything is really, really tedious work. So I think I know what I'm going to do. It's really not even the coloring, the shading on the other project. That's really the part that takes the longest. That's actually the part that takes the least amount of time. No, it's just the sketching process that takes the longest. For some. Like if there's a very specific pose that I need to put, yeah, it's definitely gonna take a while. Like last night's, holy crap, I thought it was never gonna end. Mainly because it involved drawing the anatomy of a dude, and, well, I'm not really the best at males. So yeah. I kept making mistake after mistake after mistake. What am I looking at? Oh, it's the hair that comes up from where the horn pokes out. But yeah, it's been a challenge for sure. But I promise, guys, I'll make this look nice. I'll do my best to make it look nice. And yeah. But I do think I know what I'm going to do. Just because of it being the very first chapter, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go black and white style just for a start. Because if you've ever heard, like, don't start too big with something that you know that you are unsure is ever if it's going to do right or like good or bad. Like, don't start huge by putting a ton of effort into it. Start small, and if it does well, then go big. So, start with something that's not going to kill me, and then if it does well, which I'm probably going to end up doing the entire thing anyways, I'm that stubborn. Basically, then we're going to see what happens. Because this is my first, like, real delve into this kind of stuff. And, yeah. I'm kind of nervous, but at the same time, I know you guys are really just a bunch that really don't give a flying fuck as long as it looks nice. Like, as long as it looks nice and it's a good story, you guys really do not give a shit. And I appreciate that, but it does matter to me as the creator. Oh, it's near. But I've been having a blast with this. Like, this has been so much fun doing something different. It's definitely different. It's definitely challenging. But it's a whole different kind of perspective that I like. And to get a good idea, I've been watching things like manga dubs, manga like explanations, like just get a good idea of like what other mangakans have done. like text bubbles, like effects and stuff like that to get like some emotions across. For some reason, YouTube just gives me rom com, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just a popular like genre of manga. Not entirely sure because I'm completely new to this game. There's been good ones, there's been bad ones, there's been some cringe as fuck ones. Like there's one channel that I can't watch because there's one. I don't know if it's an AI voice or not. I don't know. I don't know if it's an AI voice or if it's an actual voice actor. But their voice is ugh. It's fingernails on a chalkboard. And I'm like, why do they keep reusing this voice? This is so bad. It doesn't even sound like an MC type voice. Like an MC type voice, you're looking for like someone who's uh, like what's the word? Not attracting, but just casual, like a casual male voice or female voice if you do a female MC. And that's one thing I haven't seen really much of. Like the majority of all rom coms are all like male MCs, and it's basically hopeless romantic gets the girl. Like literally, that is what all the rom coms that I've listened to are. It's very repetitive. But I'm doing it mainly because I need the experience. I need to see, how to do it right, how to do it, proper, just so I don't make mistakes. Because that's the last thing I want to do for you guys. I want to make it as best and as accurate as I possibly can. Like I said, the hardest part about it has just been conveying certain emotions or certain like scenarios on the page as a picture. That's the hardest part. It's just visualizing it. There's some that are just straight up like, oh, okay, I can do this for this. And then there's others where it's just like, what do I do here? Like, how do I visualize this into the picture and, tell the viewer, this is what's happening? Like, I've noticed my style. Well, actually, I take that back. I've noticed that there's a ton of different ways that you can do it. Like there's totally different like styles. There's totally different ways to convey like emotion, to do speech bubbles. Like I it's all in the person creating it. Like if you want to just go simplified like with just eye close-ups or mouth close-ups, that's fine because I've seen some professional professionally made ones where I look at the hands and I'm like, oh, this person struggles. This person struggles because the fingers are like bad. Like, I'm not saying I'm the god of drawing hands. Hell the fuck no. I struggle at hands. But I notice there's trouble with it. Like, they're not perfect, but does it sell the point across? Yes. And that's all that really matters. And I think that's exactly what they had in mind. As long as the hands look decent enough and can convey exactly what the page is telling you, then that's all that matters. Like the one I did last night of the guy. The guy is supposed to just be standing. And when I look at this one, I'm like, oh god, I think his head's a little too, like there's not enough neck showing. It's a weird angle that I've never done before. So, yeah, you can imagine how much I was struggling. I'd never done this pose before. Oh, it's been a nightmare. But it's good practice. It's really good practice. It's good experience. But yeah, that's what the not safe for YouTube one has been. It's been just hashtag pose practice. But yeah, I've seen with a lot of like mangas and stuff that, the anatomy sometimes isn't perfect. there's different art styles that are intended to be non-perfect, like imperfect, and that's fine. I like that. That shows that you can actually like be not perfect and make it look good, and people really don't care. Like actual published mangas. And everybody has their weaknesses. Like for me, it's the arms and sometimes the legs. The arms are just a freaking puzzle to my brain. And for some reason, I always struggle with them. Especially if that's certain angles. Like side angle, I can draw just fine. But when it comes to things like any other angle where like the hand is at a very specific angle, yeah, the hand kind of looks weird. But I am getting better at drawing hands. I've definitely gotten much better because now I'm starting to get used to like drawing like the knuckle bumps. Like that really adds a whole different kind of like realism to hand like drawing. It does. It like makes the hands look more defined and makes them just look more realistic. Oh, back of the head. And if you just draw the same thing over and over again, eventually it clicks. Oh, front of the head too. Eventually it will click, but you're going to have your off days too. And the best thing that you can do for yourself if you're having trouble with something is walk away. Walk away or take the day off. Because you're only going to make more mistakes. I had that experience with another page in the one that's, not safe for YouTube. It looked fine. Everything was absolutely fine. And it was like a side angle with like the character, like their head at just a side angle, like in a kissing pose. But for some reason, my brain was saying, eyes wrong, eyes wrong, eyes wrong, eyes wrong, eyes wrong. And I looked up references, looked fine. But for some reason, my brain was like, this is not right. And my brain's a fucking asshole when it wants to be. But then I wake up the next morning, get on, and I'm like, yeah, it looked freaking fine. My brain was just being a fucking asshole. What was the name of the comic? I can't say that. Not yet, anyway. What do we got going on here? Oh, I see. I see. Okay, did I miss anything? I don't think so. Alright. Moving on. Let's put, yep, that's under the right panel. Okay, next one. Yeah, this has definitely been very, 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 very challenging. But I've learned things along the way. Like, one thing that I realized that I wasn't doing correctly with this particular project was on the last page, like, I took a few days off because, well, the last couple pages were just, they weren't worth streaming, guys. They took me, like, not even an hour to do. Like, very little details. It wasn't worth streaming. So, there's the reason why I wasn't streaming. But the thing that I noticed one problem with, and usually this isn't a problem in the case of a comic, but as someone who grew up reading books, when I can't read left to right, it bugs me. And the last couple pages didn't have that aspect, so I had to move around some of the panels because it was confusing me. I'm used to reading left to right. And I think that's how a lot of people read this kind of stuff. Like, I've numbered the pages and all that, so that's a lot, or the panels is what I should say. I've numbered the panels and all that so that it looks like, good, and it's easier to follow. But yeah, I just had to switch some things around on the last page that I worked on because, well, it wasn't reading left to right, and it bugged me. I'm like, a lot of people read left to right, so let's just make it left to right. Even though I don't think really anybody's going to give a give a flying fuck about it, but it bugs me as someone who grew up reading. Like I was a huge bookworm when I was a kid. Technically, it's my job now, but yeah, that was me as a kid. I was the kid that would go over into the corner and have my book, and I would just read. Huge bookworm. I've never read manga or comics. Like, comics really weren't accessible to me as a kid, and that's mainly why I didn't read comics. So that's why now I'm like, okay, I need to like go to the sources. I need to figure out how to do this correctly. And it's worked. Like I've definitely gotten a good idea of how to do certain things. But there's just some other stuff that's like, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. But hey, who knows? Maybe over time I'll get better. Like this is definitely helping to improve my art skills for sure. Even though I've had days where I've just straight up struggled. It's like I was saying, that one where the head was at the side angle and the lips were like in a kissing pose. What in the flip was wrong with my brain that night? I just could not get my brain to behave, and it was like, this is wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. And it wasn't wrong. And I drew those freaking lips over and over and over again. Up until I said, you know, fuck it, it looks good enough. Woke up the next morning, look at him like, okay, yeah, my brain was just being a butt. Honestly, you just have those days. Am I a librarian? No. I'm a content creator. I'm a content creator that reads stuff. Yeah, it's fine. But there's been some decent mangas that I've actually come across that are actually pretty decent. Like one that I recently read a recap of was I don't know the name of it, but it's not continued because of the creator actually passing away. But the story, again, one thing I've learned about mangas is that the premises are bizarre. Like absolutely and utterly bizarre. Like the names, they don't lie. But the premise is basically a kid who was abandoned by his parents and basically drowned in debt is basically saved from the debt by a girl who just shows up and pays the debt off. Like, how did she get over $1 million? Nobody knows. But then she basically forces him into marriage with her. And yeah, very common rom-com style thing, you know. But it was actually really good. I really was enjoying listening to his recap. Much easier way to read it, I'm not gonna lie. Because I just don't have the time to sit down and read a manga. I can't. I've got way too much on my plate. Oh, hey, Tsukushima. Welcome to the stream, man. You get to see my artwork. This is the next project, by the way. I'm moving on to, like, trying stuff like comics and mangas styles. Hoping to have this out by February, but no guarantees, my friend. So yeah, that was one of the more interesting ones because the way it flowed was actually really well done. So it's unfortunate that the creator actually passed away because I was actually really enjoying listening to the recap. But a lot of them that I've like listened to are very much like copy paste the same stuff. And yeah, it gets kind of old. So I just kind of look for something a little bit more on the different kind of side. Okay, so that's text, that's text. Okay, we're on to the big one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be 5. Okay. So let's move on to panel 5. It's been an interesting experience just trying to learn how a proper manga is, created. Whoops. Because one thing I didn't realize was that mangas is where animes derive from, and I didn't actually know that. Well, not all of them, not all of them, but the majority. Just gonna use the straight line tool. You bet it. That way it looks nice and clean. Okay, that overwrite that line just a little bit. I could have just erased that, but whatever. But this is the second to the last page, I believe, of episode 1. And this has been a really interesting, like, experience. Like, it's been a totally different kind of experience from, like, making a fanfic reading. But at the same time, it's really similar. And it's weird how it works that way. Because it is very similar in certain ways. Like, there's a process that's very similar. Like, you've got to draw the rough, which is basically the recording process for a fanfic reading, and then you have to revise it, which is the cleanup stage for a fanfic reading. Like, it's very similar in certain ways, but it's also a much different kind of beast. It is a much, much different kind of beast. Especially when it's a medium that you've never, like, really delved into. But I've been wanting to for a long time. For a very, 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 very long time. Okay. Very standard chair, but that's okay. But I'm currently working on two comics at the same time. One safe for YouTube, one not safe for YouTube. And yeah, this one, like there's a poll that I put up on the channel, and it was basically a poll that was meant to get a good idea on what my viewers want, because I could either go like manga style, which is black and white, or I could go fully colored, which would take longer, but be a lot more vibrant. And right now, the one that is higher is the manga style. So that actually surprised me. It's a 19% difference right now. And honestly, I would be up for doing either, but I think I know what I'm going to do. And I think it's just because I don't want to kill myself. And I think it's kind of cool to try different things. Like, just to try something different, to give myself a new medium, and just to see how it works out. And I think I'm going to do episode 1, like a manga, where basically it's black and white with very light shading. Oh, if you're wondering why she's got a little plump at the back, that's because she's got a tail. It's a growing tail, that's what I should say. Wow. How did I forget that detail? Okay, let me trace that over first. But that's what I've been up to, because RTBAA really boosted my confidence to really, try different things. Because finishing that project was a humongous, like, confidence booster. Whoops. And the production value on that was nuts. Like, I loved making it, but holy crap, did it take a lot. Oh, one thing I gotta remember is when I get to her eye, that needs to come down just a little bit. Because something about her eye is bugging me. Let's put that on a different track and call it a day. Okay, let's see. But yeah, I've certainly been doing my research, trying to figure things out on how to do this correctly so that it actually, looks nice. And the genre of it will be like, it'll definitely have its horror elements, but it'll also be like, mostly it's probably gonna be something closer to like a crime drama, like more like suspense and mystery rather than actual horror. Like, it's definitely gonna have its horror elements, but it's more so gonna be like suspense and like drama, suspense, drama, mystery, stuff like that. It was partially like inspired by RTBAA. Like, I got this idea for this when, oh god, it was like a year ago. When I started to get more into like, drawing and like just learning how to like, and I got more into like, animes and stuff like that, ideas started to brew in my head. Okay, this is actually kind of tricky. Fingies are always tricky. Because you gotta get them correct, otherwise they look wonky. I remember this pose being a bitch. That's just because I'm not used to drawing it. Because I usually don't draw fingies that much at the single. So I mean, this has really tested my, like, knowledge on, like, poses and stuff like that. God, especially the one that's not safe for YouTube. Good God. Trying different poses, trying different angles and stuff like that. Because that's really what you gotta do in order to, like, really diversify yourself. Like, this one is definitely going to be a challenge. Like, no doubt about it. And I know not everybody's going to be along, like, for this, but that is fine. I understand, people like my channel revolved mostly around Pony for almost a decade now. But yeah, it's time to try something different. It's time to try doing something outside of Pony content and just expand my horizons more. Oh. And we've been making really good progress with this. Like, this has only taken very little time. And if I had to take a wild guess, probably we're almost to the point of like it's taken 2 months, but it hasn't really taken that long. Like, I've only been like doing 1 page per day, and that's mainly why it's taken like almost 2 months. Because this is a 22-page comic, well, chapter, I should say. This is a 22-page first chapter, so if you just like calculate that, it takes 22 days if we're doing one a day. And 22 days is nearly a month. Like, when I think about like this, I think about like how the process of the animation of Hank from Finding Dory was created. What was it, like one, like 2 or 5 milliseconds per day of animation is what the like ratio was. It was something like that, and that's because he was the most animated character in the entire movie. Makes sense. He has like 8 legs. But that's how I kind of take this process. I'm just like taking my time so I don't hurt myself. And I'm doing my research and like getting a good grip on how to make it better than it already is. Making sure everything looks nice. Because I am a complete noob to this stuff. I am not a professional at all. This is my first time ever delving into something like this. Hang on, guys. Okay. So I had to make sure my mom wasn't calling me. But yeah, this has just been a blast to make. It's a different thing. It's fun. It's interesting to like come up with the ideas for some of the panels, because the panels are really like what I said earlier. Some panels are hard to envision, and that is the hardest part of making a comic, personally, in my opinion. It's visualizing like certain parts, like just trying to figure out, how something is visualized and makes sense. I remember there was one scene in the first chapter of this where basically I didn't know how to interpret it. And then I remembered, like a certain thing I see in media a lot. What is that? Oh, that's her horn. Something that I see in media a lot, which is like, kind of like, uh, it's not a paradox. It's like a reflection of like good and evil, or like, the light and the dark kind of symbolism. I did something like that, and yeah, it turned out fine. Okay, let's focus on the hair first before I get to the facial features, because I gotta do that on a separate layer. This was the point where I was kind of struggling a little bit. For some reason, I was struggling with like faces and stuff at this point. I think that was slightly because of exhaustion, which happens. But don't worry, I am taking care of myself. I'm eating every day. I'm drinking water. I'm doing my best to not hurt myself, because I do not want to. I don't want this project to turn into another RTBAA situation where basically I have to take time off in order to recover. Or another silent Ponyville incident where basically I unintentionally just wiped myself, like exhausted myself so much that it hit like a freaking monster truck and did not go away for a year. Even to this day, I can still feel it. Like, I'm not kidding when I said it came without a warning. It just happened one morning, like I woke up and bam. I felt like I didn't want to do anything. I felt like, I just didn't want to get up. I didn't want to, talk to anyone. And that's because exhaustion had hit like a motherfucker. And that was after producing the Silent Ponyville reading in a week. Yeah, that's insanity. That's absolute insanity. But hey, I can only blame myself, right? So I've been doing my best not to do that to myself again. And so far, so good. Like, if I feel exhausted, I will take a break. Because I do not want to feel that kind of shit again. Okay, let me think of how hair works. That can happen. It just kind of looks unnatural, but whatever. It gets the point across. It's a girl at a desk basically closing her laptop. And it's really all that matters. It's like I said earlier. I've seen professional mangas where I look at the hands and I'm like, well, I can see their weakness. And as an artist, I am free to criticize that. Because I know the struggle with hands. Hands are not an easy organ to draw. Ligament. They are not an easy ligament to draw. They are very, very difficult. Especially if you want to draw them accurately. One of the big ones that you really, like one of the biggest aspects that you really need to put into mind is the lengths. The separate lengths of the fingers. Very, very important if you want the hands to look right. And it took me a while to figure that out. Up until one day I was like, okay, I want to draw a hand decently. And I looked at a hand, I'm like, oh, the lengths. I need to do the lengths correct. Duck. And all I can say is if you are struggling, like, with it, like, if you're struggling with, like, hands, the best reference that you can use is yourself. Look at your hand. Like, if your hand is, like, to a point of where you can look at it and it's the same pose, look at your hand and use it as a guide. I can't tell you how many times I do that. I do it constantly. Like, anytime I feel like something's not right with a hand or something, I will immediately look at my own hand and be like, oh, that's right. Okay, I think this bump off the back of her head is a little too bumpy. So I think what... Actually, let me see if I could just do the Carthea trick. Would that look better? I don't know why, but her head just did not look right to me. Right now it's hard to tell. It doesn't look terrible. Okay. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Yeah, I think the divot also is a little too deep. Very common little mistake you can make. Alright. I want to do the facial features separately on a different layer, just in case I want to modify them a little bit. Like I said, this process is all about polish, so we want to not make mistakes. Or we want to fix the mistakes that we potentially made. Alright. Teeth. Did I use a different brush size? I did not. Okay, so she has fangs at this point. So she's got blood in her mouth. Okay, let me try and get these teeth a little bit more better. Teeth are very, very tricky. Especially at this angle. And I know there's like an artist out there that's going, no, it's not, dude, it's easy. Yeah, because you've been doing it for like 10 years now, and I'm just a noob that's been doing it for 1 year, bruh. Then I think the chin was also too far out. That looks a little better. It's kind of hard to tell from this juncture. Alright, now the eye. I do think the eye is a little too high off the top of her head. Or top of her head, oh my god. Off the, like, tip of her nose. So it needs to come down a little bit more. It's hard to tell what is what here. Something like that? Okay. So if I grab that, let me move it around just a little bit. Okay, that's a little too low. Is it more like that? That looks better. That looks much better. Okay, and then go for the eyebrow. Because what I'm trying to interpret here is tiredness. Like, she's supposed to look tired. Because, well, she's closing off for the night. Okay. Now that I have a full picture, let me turn this off. The top of her head still looks a little too high. And I think that this doesn't flow correctly. So let me try making this just a little bit more natural. I do not know why, but this fucking bump does not want to behave. Okay, let me see something. I think I've just got a little too squared. And that's why it's throwing me off. Either that or I'm just overthinking it. Which I probably am. Knowing me. Okay. That looks a little more natural. Let me try doing the divot. Okay, that don't look right. No, 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 no. Because if I were to do that, just get rid of this line. I'd have to lower that bump. I think it's just the fangs that are throwing me off. Like, I think her fangs are really throwing me off because she doesn't usually have fangs. And that's for a good reason. Okay, that don't look too bad. It looks better, I can tell you that. It does look better. It definitely does look a lot more better. She looks a lot more like a regular girl. Alright. Let's just connect those. Okay, now what I need is the straight line tool again. Not the not the rectangle. Straight line, please. Surprised that did not cut off. Nope. It's always just getting the damn placement. That works. Okay, just get rid of the excess on top. No. Why? Yep, that's fine. That is fine. Okay. Yeah, let's do the thing last. The laptop. Let's do the window. Which I use the straight line tool for too. If a tool is available, I am going to use it. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who does it. I'm 100% certain it's not me that's the only person who does it. Nope. Nope, that's not on point. Something like that'll work. Nope, 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 nope. Missing anywhere else? I don't think so. Right. Let's go over our curtains that we made. Okay, that bump's a little weird. We need to get that a little bit more straight. There we go. Okay. Then the thing that holds it together. Okay. Then the other side. Whoops. Also, if I go silent, guys, it's just because I'm in focus mode. Because I want these lines decent. Let's see. Right here. Mm-mm. There we go. Okay, now the window in the background. Okay, that's the lamp. It's actually not as much work as I thought it was going to be. It's actually shocking. I don't know, maybe last night's like trying to draw that goddamn Mel anatomy just kind of traumatized me a little bit. You would think, being a Mel, I would be fine with Mels, but nope. Mel anatomy just immediately turns my brain off. And honestly, it's mainly the shape, the shaping of the body, because, well, there's a difference between men and women. Like, women are a lot more curvy, while men are something. Or complicated. And you would think, I could just use myself as a reference. Well, yeah, but my brain doesn't like to behave. It doesn't like to play nice. So that's not really my fault. That's crooked as fuck. Better? Okay. Yep, much better. Whoops. Didn't I use a straight line tool for this? I believe I did. Okay, that's definitely not a straight line tool, but I can use a straight line tool here. So who's sick of Christmas music yet? I know I am. Christmas used to be fun, guys. It used to be fun as a kid, but nowadays, in this economy, Jesus. There was one Christmas where they kept playing Let It Go like it was going out of style. I'm like, can we please play a different fucking song, please? I'm so sick and tired of hearing Elsa or Selena Gomez, I think that's who's saying that, sing Let It Go for the gabillionth fucking time. Please. Next. And not Mariah Carey. God, she's made billions off of that fucking song. Especially given they play it every flipping 5 seconds on the radio. Yeah, Christmas used to be fun. Now it's just whatever. It's another day. It's any other day to me, just like any other holiday, including my birthday. It looks like I used straight line tool here too. Connects to the finger. But yeah, anytime Christmas comes around, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Mariah Carey's gonna make another $1 billion off of her freaking cover of All I Want for Christmas Is You. You know, here comes all the Christmas movies. Here comes all the Christmas everything. Used to be exciting as a kid, but now it's just bleh. Like I could really give a shit less. The only thing that I care for about Christmas anymore is my nieces. Because my nieces are still young, you know, they're still, you know, into it. So yeah, they are great for it. But any other anything else, yeah. I could do without Christmas. Alright, on to panel 6. Which is just an eyeball, or eyelashes is what I should say. So this will be pretty easy. Whoops, I need to get out this round tool. Come on, hand. Something like that. Doesn't need to be perfect, just has to be something that gets the point across. Besides, nothing about the body is perfect. So even if there is some imperfections, that's completely natural. An anime is pretty, like, it is pretty close to human anatomy, but not exactly. Like, if you've done anime art, you know the heads are definitely not accurate to actual, like, human head size. Definitely not. They're a lot more bigger. They're much more bulgy. Not to mention the eyeballs. The eyeballs are very, very large, unlike humans. But I would say about I would say about 80% of anime figures or like anime like art style is pretty close to human anatomy. And I say that with a huge grain of salt because, well, I play a lot of gacha games and yeah, the women are very, very, very inaccurate. Like, they're ridiculous. Okay. Oh, this is actually tricky. So I'm going to have to add the black first. Because it needs to be white because there's black. Let's just try and see what happens. All right, let's see. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but we'll try. I can barely see that. Yeah, I can barely see that. I can see it, but it's just faint. Actually, no, I know how to fix that. So what I need to do is I need to turn that off. I need to go background color. There we go. Now I can definitely see a lot more better. Make sure I'm on the right layer. It's definitely not the most perfect, but it'll be alright. Okay, let's get that a little bit more accurate. It's meant to just be kind of a smiley face that gets the point across. Like, my style is definitely not your usual, like, anime style. And that's kind of what I want to interpret. I don't want to be what everybody else has done a gazillion times over. All right. Sorry, I don't know why my brain's turning off, but it is. Okay, so that's still on. Okay, so I did color those in. So turn that off so that I can see a little better. So I colored these in white. Oh, did I forget her eyebrows? I forgot her eyebrows. Whoopsies. Alright, now let's try it. Yeah, that's fine. It'll work. Alright, turn that back to white. Whoa, 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 what the hell? Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, so we've got all the tracing done. Now what we need to do is add the text. The only issue is that final panel. Final panels is what I should say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Technically that's not 7. That'd actually be 7, 8, 9. It is very important that I keep this organized, otherwise I will get lost. So it's panel 9. So the rest are all text layers. So let's go ahead and add the text to these layers. So I'm probably going to have to... Whoops. I'm probably going to have to do something along the lines of looking up the actual pages. Yeah. Actually, no. What I need to do... Sorry guys, I'm not meaning to delay anything. I'm just trying to figure this out. Actually, I'm just going to color that in because... Okay, let's see. Turn that off. Ew. Oh, just turn that back on. Okay, that's the color of the face. So you go to panel 9. Go underneath. Actually, not panel 9, my bad. Here. And boom. Oh, I'm on top. That's the problem. Get that color. Yeah, this is more like a silhouette, so... It's never really meant to be colored like skin. Something like that. Okay, turn that back on, get the black. The little gaps I'll get manually. That's the only time I really grab the manual brush and just start coloring them in. Still need to do the inside of the ear as well. So I should... Okay. Let's see. What color was the inside of the ear? Nah, just a smaller gray. Okay, let me double check I'm on the right layer. Yes, I am. Okay. There we go. Okay. Oh, see, I missed a spot. So I need to grab that. Go like this. Okay, get inside the lines, dork. Alright, so that one's pretty much done. Okay, panel 2 had nothing. Text. No color, no color. Okay, interesting. Hang on, guys. I think I see an issue. Oh. Yep, that is a problem. So, what I need to do, actually... I can probably do something like this. I'm going to have to do this thing again, so that I can see what the hell I'm doing. Wait, hang on. Turn that down to 50%. Go up to here. Okay, need a white. I need the straight line tool, because I gotta add these panels. Something along those lines. There we go. Okay, that issue is resolved. Okay, let's bring that back up to white. Okay. I'm just gonna go to panel 9. Okay, where's the... That's the thing. Okay, so you go down like this. Black. All right. Let's see. That. Whoops. This is just a matter of doing everything right. Getting all the gaps, getting all the stuff to make it look nice and pretty. I don't know why it goes over the lines, but that's really flipping annoying when it wants to be. Something like that, that'll work. As long as it looks okay from the perspective of the spectator, that's all that matters. Yeah, that looks fine. Alright. Fill that in. Fill in all these gaps. Can go over those layers because it doesn't really matter. Yep, see how it overrides the line? I don't know why it does that. I just want to clean that up a little bit. Yeah, from the perspective of the spectator, yeah, that's fine. Okie doke. Alright, now we can officially start with the text. Because I can turn that off. No, I can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Sorry. Okay, I need to figure out what number I am on. I am on number... We are on... Whoa. Files, please. Hearse. Okay, really, brain? Okay, where are we? We are on 136. Okay, I also need to get the proper text so I can see what actually was going on here. So you go to the rough drafts, page 21. This is where she talks about like how, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Panel 1. All right. Okay. Style, text needs to be white, outline needs to be black. Then we need her signature, which is bristle. But, boink, boink, boink. Okay. But that's not all, friends. Okay, this is actually going to be a tricky one because I've got to somehow kind of condense down a lot of this text. So then there's these. And then there's these. And let me tell ya, there no funner. Is funner a word? Okay. So what I need to do is lower the size because it's a little too clunky. Okay. Then what I'm gonna no. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go something like an arrow. Ooh, okay. Let me see if there's like one of those things under here. Why did it immediately come up with a sparrow? I get it, because arrow is in the name. Okay, that's not right. Okay, it looks like I'm just going to have to do this very, very carefully. Oh my god, really? So let's increase our brush size. Like something like that. Actually, I think... Let me see something. It's probably a paid or an ad one. Yep. And I don't dare do ads. Let's try something like that. Okay, that is definitely not even. Oh, I hate my symmetry skills. Okay, let's try that again and get a little bit more pointed. Okay, fuck you. If anyone's in chat right now, I cannot see you, so I apologize. I'm having to look at a reference right now. Is that more accurate? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now we just need the number, which was 136, I believe. Let me double check that. We are on 136, yep. Oh, we're on 21, my bad. 136. Okay, so that's gonna have to go up here in this corner. Increase that size just a little bit more. 136. Okay. Next panel. From feeling like when feeling like when your wisdom teeth grow in. Okay, how do I word this? From feeling like from their growth. Growth. Feeling like when your wisdom teeth grow in. So like put that up here in this corner. Needs to be way smaller than that. Then a second one. A to not maintaining to keeping a good set of bed sheets intact okay we don't want to obscure that Let me see if I move it to the, like, right. This is just the organization. It's not necessarily easy. Bed sheets intact. Move it intact down a little bit. We'll just keep something like that for now. Okay, now the number 137. Okay, actually, I'm gonna go back here for just a second. Oh, oops. Please. Okay, so panel 3 now. Now that we're actually there. Text. Why are you being like this? So I move that right there. No. The worst part of those 4 months. Okay, hopefully I left some room for a number, which I think I did. 136, 137, okay, 138. Come on. Okay, increase the size of that. That can probably go right there. Okay, I think I know where I'm going with this, so I can go back to this. Okay, 138. All right, next panel. How did that happen? Miss anything? No. So just delete that. Okay, I see what happened. Okay, next panel 4. I think I know I'm gonna put. But yawn. Lots of talking. 139, I believe, is what we're on. Yep. All right, next one. Panel 5. So I can either go sideways or I could, well, it's gotta be small regardless. That'll have to wait until next time. Hey, it's my slogan. Oh my god. It's late and got school in the morning. Perfect. That's a nice little fit. That's what she said. Shut up. 138, 139. It's 140. Okay. Panel 6. Okay. So this is where we've got to really adjust the size a little bit. Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do. I think that's okay. Especially when I... Pen! Sorry, guys. My pen loves to be... Ay. I apologize, guys. Apparently, YouTube decided to be a dipshit and decide to crash. So, not my fault. I don't know when it crashed, but anyways, here is what the end result looked like. And yeah, pretty much we're done. I don't know when it crashed. I don't know what you guys saw, what you didn't see. So yeah, unfortunately, I have to deal with YouTube nonsense, but yep. There's the final page, or the final, like, what's the word? Like, the final look, I guess you could say. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. So, sorry about YouTube being a dumbass, but not my fault, guys. Anyways, I think I'm going to call it there. Tomorrow, we will finish the final page. I don't know if I'm going to stream it because it's really not that much work from my memory. I don't think it was a big amount of work. So, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed before YouTube decided to be a dumbass and crash like an idiot. But yeah, sorry guys. That's not my fault. That's YouTube all around. So anyways, guys, I will see you all later, and happy horse until next time.